Hi, how you're doing? Welcome to another episode of Where Pilgrims Walk. This week, the big question on our lips is, should Gray start, given the impact that he made against Preston? And of course, we're reviewing rather, that crazy 3-3 draw this weekend. We'll look ahead to Leeds. We'll get these guys to vote on their October Player of the Month for the Green Army. And because it's Halloween, we're asking them to pick the three teams they detest the most as a Plymouth fan and who would they love to see relegated from this division. So stay to the end of the video to watch that. And we'll kick straight off with that big grey question. Before we do that, though, if you haven't yet subscribed, please press the button now. We'd love to get this channel up and moving. Thank you so much if you have already done so. Right, Chris? Where do you start with the most bonkers game at Home Park? I tell you what, I'm going to go get a season ticket because that's where the entertainment's at. What on earth
Well, you're seeing
happened?
goals. You're definitely seeing goals, Mark. That's for sure. Whether they be in the right net or not. Yeah, it was. If it was ever a proverbial get out of jail card, we used it on Saturday. 2-0 down half time, absolutely horrendous. Thought this got to change in the second half. Yeah, it did. Three minutes into the second half, they scored a third, and you thought this is Cardiff all over again. You know, there was makings of 4 and 5 on the cards. If it wasn't for Dan Grimshaw in goal, we'd have been 4 or 5. But we came back from it, and to be fair to Argyle, they persevered, they had determination, and they had grit. So there were some positives to take from the game. Not a lot, but there was positives. And once we got luckily, their keeper, Woodman, was a bit of an howler, actually. He was the opposite to Grimshaw. So with that in mind, that's how we got back into the game. That's how we got our 3 each. He did a melee.
Jaden, when it went to 3-2, you must have thought you could have even gone and win it. I mean, I think if there's 5 more minutes on that game, you probably might have done, wouldn't you, given what's happened in the past with Blackburn and Sunderland?
Yeah, it seemed inevitable that we were going to get back into it once that first one went in. I think everyone just felt a glimmer of hope, even with how bad the performance was. It just felt like one of those games that was just going to become a bit more interesting. And then eventually we did, and wow, unbelievable.
Okay. For as much as it was good, Carl, the defence needs examining here. So explore it with us. What's gone on?
Out of all the 4 or 5 years I've been watching football live, that has to be the worst first half performance I've ever witnessed from any other side. I've been seen plenty. So I've seen Sunday league teams defend better than we did. Absolutely shocking from the first man to the last. Grimshaw had the ball for, I counted, 3 minutes, and there was no one running making options for him. And I just looked and thought, what on earth are they playing at? And Rooney, I think he let some steam off at half time because he said to him, you don't stop fucking up after 5 minutes, I'm making 5 changes. Fair play to him.
Could have made 10, couldn't he? Let's have a look at the thoughts of some of the social media. Tom says, hopefully it's a turning point. We were much better in the second half. We are too weak up front, and the midfield was non-existent in the first half. Start Gray in the future and show some more intent rather than messing around with the ball with Grimshaw, and then we stand a chance. And then, as Chris, you said, Grimshaw saved it from being 6 or 7. Bally and Rand's unreal. Gray made a difference coming on. So, okay then, fellas. At Leeds, does Gray start for you, Chris?
Yeah, very much so. Why not? He's got 2 months now to show his worth. He's a career player up front, and he 200 career goals in his time. 43 of those have come in the Championship. Got to give the bloke a chance. He came on second half and he wanted to prove a point, and he got a bullet header in. Absolutely superb. He did what Ryan Hardy didn't do at Millwall. He had a one-on-one with the keeper with an header straight at the keeper. Gray buried it. Absolutely stunning. And you can see he wants it as well. He really wants to. He wants to play. He wants to keep. He loves it in Plymouth, doesn't he? He must do. It was sun shining yesterday. He loves it. He wants to stay here to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, has been a journeyman, hasn't he? But crikey, he's far better than players who want to play than those that don't, regardless of it. Fortress Home Park, Jaden says, Steve again, my heart couldn't hack the players couldn't hack it. The players and the fans tried their absolute best to get the players going. Nick it in the end there would have been harsh, but feels like it's a point gained. Troy says 2 crossed in the box and 2 goals. How about playing the wingers on the correct sides and stop narrowing the game by cutting inside each time we try and go forward? There's a few like that, Jaden. Does Troy have a point?
Well, to be fair, I think the whole reason we won was because of Bally Mimba. He was incredible in that second half. We haven't seen a lot of it from him recently, but the crosses he was delivering, obviously those 2 goals for Whittaker and Gray, were absolutely unbelievable. And I think he is the sole reason why we ended up winning that game. Individual performance, just pure class in that second half, dragged us back into the game.
I'm sure it must have felt like a win, Jaden, but it was still only a point, wasn't it? by the end of it. Carl, your man scored again. The death, Mr. Whittaker. How was his performance overall, though?
Doesn't change anything. Where 94 minutes did bugger all. It doesn't change my perspective. Nothing's going to change it. I'm going to get moaned and groaned at probably for saying what this, but it don't change anything. He cannot. He's like the invisible man who just cannot be benched. He just cannot be benched. I just don't see what the agreement is there. There must be something going on for him to just stay on the pitch every single game for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Many would say, though, Carl, that his job is to score goals and be there in the right place at the right time. And you could argue against, well, again, the last 3 he scored. That's exactly his job, isn't it? He's doing it.
He's doing it. Yeah, I get that view, but at the same time, it's not just about that. It's a squad. It's a team game, and if he's not putting the effort in, which he still isn't, he's one of the most laziest players I've ever watched. Yes, he scored. And people say, yeah, if you took him off, he wouldn't have scored at the last minute. So then again, we could have gone on and won it if someone came on, because we don't know that. You can't predict it. But at the same time, I'd rather see someone busting a gut than him just lounging about. But again, he scored the equaliser. Fair play to him for scoring it, but it doesn't change much in my opinion.
Okay. All right, we'll leave Preston alone for a second. Let's talk about Leeds next then, Chris, shall we? Was it in the 1960s was the last time that Plymouth went to Ellen Road and got 3 points, although obviously they haven't played them in every single year. But I'd imagine this one's going in everyone's accumulator as a home win. Can you see anything different other than Leeds taking 3 points?
The sensible money would tell you it's a home win, wouldn't it? You know, let's be honest. They haven't, since they've come down from the Premiership, I think they've lost 2 games at home. We've won 3 away in the last 15, 16 months. Got to be an away win then, isn't it? So,
yeah, it's coming, isn't
it? Yeah. And we're missing 3 of our better players. We're probably missing Joe Edwards, our captain, who's probably out with an hamstring injury. There's been a bit quiet at the moment, but he certainly felt his hamstring while he went off on Saturday. We're missing Sissoko for the next one. That's his 3rd that he's going to miss for his suspension. And Lewis Gibson, who's our other centre-half, who couldn't play on Saturday due to injury. Ideally, I would rather them save Gibson than play him or risk him on Saturday against Leeds, because we've got a really important game coming up 3 days later at home to Portsmouth, live on Sky, on the lights. There's our opportunity to gain 3 points. It isn't going to be up Ellen Road. At the most we can do, and I dare say it, play Ian Foster like and park the bus. Could we get a 0-0? Possibly, yes, we can get a 0-0. But I do fear if we go a goal down, I just don't want the floodgates to open. I mean, I've got my alarm set for 4 o'clock. I'm really looking forward to that game.
Brilliant. Okay. The Leeds fans are looking forward to this one. To do Rooney no favours whatsoever with his United connections. Jaden, in terms of the team and starting, should we just go 6-6 at the back, shouldn't we? Here and just hope for the best. All seriousness, what does he need to make any changes to the starting 11?
Well, like you say, you put Gray in, I think, and then I don't really know what else you can change. To be honest, obviously play some of the players you played in the second half on Saturday, who brought us back into it. And then I'm not sure what else you could really change. The team's not been too bad this season overall. So yeah, you just got to hope for the best. And then obviously save players' energy with subs ready for Tuesday.
Okay. All right. Let's get October Player of the Month on the roll then. Carl, kick us off with who you think should deserve it.
The centre back, Seuss. I think out of everyone that's been consistent, I think he's right up there, and he is an upgrade on Dan Scott.
Okay. Chris?
For me, he's got to be our captain and leader, Joe Edwards. You know, he's led by example and he continues to do so on a weekly basis. I just hope his injury isn't too serious and he's not out for too long. He's a big miss.
Okay. Two good shouts there, Jaden. You can echo them or you can have your own.
Comfortably Adam Randall for me. I think he's been extremely solid in the midfield this month, with some of the best performances. Player of the match for a couple of the games as well.
Brilliant. Okay. Can you beat that? Drop us a comment below if you can. Thank you all very much. And before we let you go, we are asking all our 24 teams which 3 teams get on their nerves the most. So casting some sort of evil Halloween kind of curse now. Jaden, which 3 teams would you love to see the back of if you could click your fingers and wish 3 goodbye?
Looking at it, probably Millwall, probably Stoke, and QPR, probably a bit pointless.
Okay, all right.
I don't know.
Carl, what about you?
QPR, Portsmouth, and Derby.
Okay, any reasons for those particular ones?
Portsmouth, I really dislike with a passion. Derby, I don't think they've got enough squad depth. And QPR, I think they've gone downhill from last season. Personally, I thought they were on the up last season, but they've seemed to have gone backwards. So I fear for them, and then hopefully they're the ones that go down. So that's my opinion, anyway.
All right. Well, very, very good that you're being literal, but you can put anybody down there, of course. Chris, which 3 teams do you think, as a fan base, that you just gets under your skin?
Funny enough, it might be Leeds. they're the top one for me. I mean, their fan base. I mean, they win the league every year without kicking a ball. So yeah, that's number 1 for me. Probably second would be Portsmouth to get rid of the Devon or the Dockyard Derby. Let's get that one away, and then Norwich because of the distance involved.
Fair comment. Fair comment. There was only one team so far that's put you down there. And wanted to get rid of you with a passion. Can you guess which one that was?
Portsmouth.
It was Portsmouth, yeah, absolutely. They did not hesitate to say to get rid of you guys. So that's going to be quite a tasty one, isn't it?
Division 1, Championship, Exeter.
Yeah, okay. Lovely. We'll look forward to talking about that one next week. Enjoy your trips to Leeds if you're heading up there. And thank you very much, of course, for watching. We'll see you next week when we hopefully aren't reviewing a cricket score. Good luck. See you.